What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know where you're at. Yak Nasty Adventures in Fishing. And guys, I've been meaning to put this video out, but I've been working and rolling through so much video footage, it doesn't even matter because you're going to see it. So guys, today we're going to go over April bass fishing, 5 techniques and baits that you're going to need to have tied on. And I'm going to show you through here. I have them tied on myself. So guys, before we get started, I just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers, all the new family members, because that's what you are here when you subscribe to Yak Nasty Adventures in Fishing. You can check out the Facebook page, Yak Nasty Adventures in Fishing, and follow along over there as well, because I do more of a day-to-day type posting over there. It's not always video, but check out the Facebook channel, Yak Nasty Adventures in Fishing, guys. And I also want to tell you, man, if you're in the area, check out Cheswold News and Tobacco for all your tobacco needs and more. Man, people over there are awesome. You just got to go over there. You just got to go check it out. And if you're in the area, stop by Cheswold News and Tobacco. All right, guys, let's get into the video here. The 5 techniques and baits that you want to have tied on for April. All right. Now, we're going to have a lot of rain. We're going to get some muddy waters. In my area, we're already getting torrential downpours, guys. We're already sitting in chocolate milk stained water, flooded areas, tons of flooded cover. Guys, we've been getting hit with some storms. So, you know, April showers bring the May flowers. So it's all a part of the process rolling through the spring season, right? Man, guys, sounds like tough fishing, especially when those cold fronts roll in, you know, unexpected spring cold fronts. It's been nice for 2 weeks, and then you get punched in the face with a 40-degree day. But it just happens to be a day that you have to go fishing. So, technique number 1, and or baits in this category, right? We're going to be talking about bladed baits, guys. Yeah, that includes the spinnerbait, all right? The bladed jig, the underspin, okay? And even inline spinners. But more specifically, I'm going to be talking about just a couple of those techniques and what you want to have tied on. First things first, we're going to want to get us a spinnerbait tied on, guys. Yeah, that's what we're going to want. Now, I like to keep a Colorado and a willow blade on my spinnerbaits. I like a double willow or a single Colorado blade. But most of the time, guys, I'm fishing a 1-in-1, all right? 1 willow, 1 Colorado. It works really good in that shallow cover, up around that wood, those laydowns, okay? This is what you're gonna wanna throw up in those areas, all right? Your bulkier cover areas, around those docks, around those posts, a lot of that submerged big cover is what I wanna call it. And if you notice, I got this color here, and I also like to use a chartreuse in white, all right? Now, look at the blades. They're either gonna be gold, gold, silver, silver, all right? I mix it up. I also use painted blades, guys. So the spinnerbait is really the bait you wanna use coming out the gate, looking for fish. You know, we get a little wind, you know, we got a pre-storm situation going, and you know, we're just trying to find out where these fish are living, and most likely that water is going to be just a little stained. You're going to throw up against that wood cover, and you're going to try to find these fish, right? It's an awesome search bait. And just a little tip before we move on is, since everybody has a spinner bait, right? Everybody has a spinner bait. You know, you got to mix it up a little bit. You got to change it up, guys. So I tend to, as you can see, I had to reach back and get it off that rod. I keep it tied on, man. A little bit smaller spinnerbait. All right. I can't call it finessey because she still has the weight. This one here is a 3/8 ounce, and this one in particular is a booyah spinner. You see, I got that painted blade on there. I got that natural color. You see the look with that red eye and that detail there. And I got it paired, guys, with this here banger style swimmer. And look at that, man. That green pumpkin, more of a little watermelon with the pepper, right? In that light. But it's just a little swimmer, a little straight tail, doing his thing back there. And this thing gets bites because it's different from what everyone else is throwing. Everyone's throwing your average size, right? Well, guess what, guys? Mix it up. Mix it up. Get a little bit smaller, especially in those fisheries with smaller bait fish. This thing really attracts the fish, guys. I mean, whew, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you now, guys. I'm going to tell you. I'm not even gonna wait to work that video, do any editing. I'm gonna tell you right now, guys. This one caught a 2 pound, I want to say 2+, but a 2 pound crappie just a week ago. And yeah, man, this right here gets the job done. So just a little tip for you. Go ahead and downsize that spinnerbait, guys, and you'd be surprised in the results because everyone's throwing the full-size spinnerbait. All right. So moving on to another bladed bait is going to be our bladed jig. All right. Also known as chatterbait. Okay. Your bladed jig is definitely a technique to cover water, especially in those grassy fisheries where you have smaller cover, right? Maybe some little branches. You can get away with getting this through that cover, snatching it out. If you get just a hair of a snag, you can snatch that thing out. You get great reaction strikes off a bladed jig. All right. And you see, I got a more natural color here for clear water. Now, when we get to that chocolate milk and we got that stormy situation and pretty much all the same conditions or similar conditions as we would throw a spinnerbait in, we can also throw this chatterbait. And look, I like to mix it up. I know this one's a little bit off. That lizard's not quite straight there, but I like to mix it up, guys. You see that black red, and then I go ahead and chop that lizard down and use that for the trailer, and man, the action that gets. Now, this is a little sneak tip. All right, I don't know a lot of people doing it. I don't hear a lot about it, but this is something I really like to do in stained water. It gives me that bulkier profile, excuse me. It gives it that bigger profile, and the fish can see it, they can hear it, that vibration, they're all on it, guys. So right up against that good grass. All right, along the edges of those lilies, you bring it back a little slow, you give it a couple twitches, and man, this thing gets going and it gets bit. All right, I also like to use another bladed jig head that's not named chatterbait. All right, everybody uses chatterbaits, the jackhammers. I got a chatterbait Evo tied on right now in white, okay, paired with that Zaco. Man, that's nice. I like the chatterbait lineup, and I like what Z-Man does, and it's all good. But I also like different, okay? So, this bladed jig head right here, oh man, just look at the skirt on that right there, boy. Whew, look at that. All right, this right here is a bladed jig from a bait maker out of Maryland, Addiction Baits. All right, guys. So you need to check out addictionbaits.com. I'm not sponsored. Go check them out, man, and try something different. It gives it that little bit different look, gives it that superb action. Being as though there's that split ring right there, you get a whole lot of wiggle action from your trailer and from your skirt, and you get that puff. You get a whole lot of going on there, and that really attracts the fish in those different conditions, windy conditions. You got a little bit more muddy or stained water, okay? It's just not the greatest, right? Put you on a nice trailer on this thing, and sometimes, I know guys that don't even fish a trailer. They will just take this and throw it out there, and they will get bites. But I like a trailer. It helps me keep the speed of that lure where I want it, and even the depth of that lure. And of course, all these baits guys we're throwing in 10 foot or less, okay? We could probably get some of this stuff down to 15 foot, but most likely that's not what's going to happen, because in April we have some spawning going on in some areas. We have pre-spawn happening right now, and those fish are feeding up. So you're going to be focused on more of those shallow areas. Somewhere it's going to be some flat areas, protected areas, things that are out the way, and these fish are going to be moving into for spawning. So a lot of them are on the way. Some of them are there. And guys, you can catch them on the way with these techniques and cover that water pretty fast. So get you a bladed jig on, guys. Yeah, okay. So blade baits really produce fish around this time, and you can cover water quickly. Now, with those two bladed baits in mind, I'm going to just give you a quick touch on one more little secret, but it's not a secret, guys. It's just a lot of guys forget about these techniques, is get you a paddle tail swim bait and get you an underspin. Yeah, this one here by VMC. Get you one of these, man. Get you a 6 cents paddle tail, even a kietech, guys. The 3.8s work perfect with this hook right here, and that is the screw lock on that with that belly weight. And you tie that thing on, and you will be surprised. That blade does a lot. Okay? So bladed baits, guys, that is the number one technique to go out there, search out fish, get some of those good reaction bites. The baits and techniques coming will show you what to do from there, guys. So let's move on to technique number 2. And technique number 2 is a pretty awesome technique. I like to pull it out really when things seem a little bit tougher, all right, just a little bit tougher, and it's harder to find the fish or what area they're living in. And that technique, for me, is a crankbait. Yeah, guys. Square bill crankbaits, all right? You got your hybrid hunter, which I'm going to put in this category, all right? But you get your square bills. Look at that. Now, this Lucky Craft here, it's got that little microchip board lip to him, that bill. This one here is a little flatter. And you're like, well, it's not winter time. Why would we fish a flatter crankbait? Well, guys, I'm going to tell you, you got to switch it up. You got to be a little bit different. And in those cold fronts, guys, throwing you something a little bit thinner gives you that tighter action that you can work and work. Yeah, guys, that's what you want. You want something a little different, because everyone and their mama's throwing this right here. 1.5 red-eye KVD shad from Strike King. Everybody has one, all right? But also something different, because they get so used to the rattles, all right? They get so used to the loud noise, all right? I like to mix it up. In this one in particular. Now, pay attention to the colors I'm picking up, guys. All right? It's silent. It doesn't make any noise. Very silent crankbait. All right. So a silent square bill, guys, is something different. These fish don't see it. They don't expect it to be quiet. All right. It's the vibration. You can get up around the riprap. You can get up around some of that bigger cover, like I was talking about, the wood, your docks. Okay. A lot of those bigger laydowns, man, you can really pull something out if you just bring it right along that laydown and you just parallel it right next to it, and it's getting down there right in the fish's face, and they don't see it coming, right? So it's all reaction because they didn't hear it. They feel something's in the water coming to them, and then they react and they bite that bait, guys. So get a square bill, switch it up. You can get you a silent one. You can get you a flat-sided one. And then for those real chocolatey days, those real bad days, those post-storm crazy, what in the world, why are we out here fishing days? Get yourself a hybrid hunter, man. This guy right here, get some bites, man. The hybrid hunter is a very loud bait. Okay? This thing's loud. You can hear it. You can throw it out there, and while you're reeling it back, if it's real quiet, you can hear this thing just making all kind of racket down there, and it's attracting the fish. It's getting some attention, and you can fish this hybrid hunter around all sorts of cover, guys. So get yourself a crankbait. Tie it on right now, okay? The square bill. And if you're in a clear water, deeper water fishery, okay, guys? If you're in a clear, deeper fishery, you're probably going to go with something like a 3XD. I have some of those with me, depending on where I'm going to be fishing at, but most of my area is pretty shallow. So I can get away with using the 1.5 KVDs and the hybrid hunters and the Lucky Craft, flat side. All right? So mix it up a little bit. Don't be afraid to downsize, right? So this one here is a little bit smaller than, let's say your KV or your hybrid hunter right here, guys. So you see it's a little bit smaller. So don't be afraid to downsize to attract those fish that are bigger and they've seen it all. Okay, those bigger fish been in the water, they've seen it all, they've heard it all. So don't be afraid to mix it up and throw what guys are not throwing. So crankbait, technique number 2, baits, you've seen them, hybrid hunter, your 1.5 KVDs, your red eye shads, your hard knocks, stuff like that, and silent crankbaits, guys. No one's expecting that. I know the fish aren't. Try it, man. Try it. It will get bit. And yeah, thank me later. How about that? Moving on to technique and baits. In the third category I'm going to give you, guys, you got to have this tied on. It's just no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You got to have it ready to go. Okay? And that, I know you're wondering, right? And that is a Texas rig. All right? Texas rig creature bait. Texas rig crawl. All right? Look. I keep it tied on, guys. I know. Ray would be very, very proud. He is very, very proud, I should say. He's still with us, guys. He's not gone. So, Ray, yeah, I'm telling you, he's pulled in a few last week, and I think he caught a couple yesterday in chocolate milk windy conditions with this right here, all right? I love throwing a Texas rig creature bait, bug bait, or even paddle tail swim bait, all right? You can get that in any cover, any situation, get it back out, fish it where those fish are really tight up to cover, where they're getting into that jump to get out of the wind and to get out of those bad situations and just hunker down and wait it out. That's what the fish are pretty much doing. And when something swims by, they eat it. They're opportunistic feeders, okay, guys? The predators, opportunistic apex predators, they're going to eat it if it comes too close to their face and they don't like it, or they're just hungry, okay? And I love to fish, a rage crawl. Look at those colors I like to use, guys. Those are the jams, all right? That peanut butter jelly. Now, I got my crawl style, right? You see it's got the flatter crawls to it. Okay, so it gives it a little bit of action, but not as squirrely up and down as the rage crawl. I like to mix it up a little bit, and then even your paddle tail swim baits, you can throw on Texas rig style and throw it into the cover, into the woods, into the weeds, way up in that flooded cover, because we're getting a lot of rain in April, guys. Way up in that flooded cover. All right, you could pitch that stuff way up in the jump and pull you out a fish. I do it all the time. I love a Texas rig bait. All right, creature, crawl, even bug style, like our D-bomb here from Missile, our Bandito bug right there. We got the Kraken crawl right there. Yeah, Texas rig that thing, guys. Throw those baits in the junk and give them the 2-bop. Give them the 3-bop. Bop, bop, bop. Get that bait moving and let it chill. Get it real tight to that cover, because we need to slow down now, right? Those other techniques were reaction, search baits. We find out where they live, and then we slow down and we pick it apart, right? And the Texas rig is the best technique to pick it apart with. Okay, you can throw it in the bushes, you can throw it in the grass, you can throw it anywhere, and it will come back out if you have it set up right. Okay, now if you're not set up just right, you might get hung up. But if you set it up right and kind of bury the tip of that hook back into the bait, guys, that is what you want. Yeah, Texas rig. And that's just basically the EWG style hook, extra wide gap hook. You see that there. This one is a number 4 Gamakatsu, so you can see that right there. And I love to throw the lightest weight I can get away with. And this one is a 1/16 ounce bullet weight. I'll go with a 1/8 ounce. I will go a 1/4 ounce in moving, excuse me, in moving water. I will go with a 1/4 ounce, a little bit heavier bait. And, to get that down in there close to the cover and not get it drifted away by the current soon as it touches the water, right? So we're pretty much locking in the Texas rig all year round, but I love fishing it right now in those areas, those flats, even where they're up spawning or getting set up to spawn. You can bring that lizard through or any Texas rig bait and, kind of entice a fish to bite, guys. So Texas rig, have it tied on, guys. Have it tied on. The next technique number 4, bait number 4, however you want to say it, we're going to be fishing a jig, guys. A jig. Yeah, that's what we're doing. I love fishing the jig. This is my favorite bait to throw. If I have all day and I'm not in a hurry to fish the area, and I just want to pick it apart to find some of the bigger fish, you will find some of the biggest fish with a jig, guys. A jig, the Texas rig, they will catch big ones, okay? Big ones. Yes, guys. And so with this jig in particular, this is a stand-up jig. So let me straighten that out there for you. You can see it as it's down there. You see that? These claws actually float, okay? So these are floating claws. So they will rise up in the water, and this thing's just sitting there. And you give it a boop, boop, and those claws, all right, get in a crawl defensive position, So that's what they do. They float. And this stand-up jig right here by Phoenix is awesome, right? So this one here is my 3/8. I love throwing the 3/8. It works perfect, especially when there's a little bit deeper water nearby or some current not moving too fast near that cover, guys. So this gets it down in there, and that stand-up jig by Phoenix is awesome. But I also love to just throw a regular pitching jig or Arky style head jig, right, to get the basics going. Look at that, man. Look, you can't see that. Look at that. Look at that. That's that peanut butter jelly. I got that paired up with that rage crawl there, you know. Those things get to going, man. And this color just gets bit. I mean, oh my goodness, guys. That's jig fishing for you. Now, I'm going to give you another tip. All right, guys. Another little secret to that technique, because a lot of guys are throwing your full size 3/8, 5/8, quarter ounce, half ounce jigs. Guys, switch it up. Switch it up. And throw you a bitsy bug. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. And see what I got it paired up with, right? And you see that? Pay attention to these colors now, guys. Throw a smaller jig sometimes, all right? Mix it up. If you know guys are throwing full-size jigs, get you a smaller jig. Get you a Finesse Pro style jig or a small micro touring jig. These guys get it done. Z-Man makes some with the mushroom head. Those are awesome as well. But the jig, oh my gosh, guys. Look, let me see. Do I got one? Yep. You know I do. You know I do. Let me find it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you want to know what I got tied on, these baits I have tied on. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. Now you see that color combination. That's what you got to pay attention to. All right. Because you're going to want to know what these fish are going to key in on. What color are they on? Hook up. All right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Woo, yeah. All right. All right. There's a clue for me. Goodness gracious, is this thing on? Probably not. Heck no, I lost that camera. But, that skunk, baby. Woo! Got a skunk on it, baby. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A nice little 2-pounder. I'll take that. So you might have to switch up 1 or 2 jigs, you know, get your black and blue jigs ready as well for that real muddy stained water. I do use white, but I like to use the more natural colors, all right, because it's a more close combat fight when you find the fish, all right? So when you find them, you slow down and you throw something that mixes it up a little bit. And give that the same retrieve, you know. Give it a 2-bop. Give it a 3-bop. You can even swim a jig back to the boat. Okay, guys? So, these things here really get bit. All right? And they catch a bigger class fish most of the time. But when you have a bitsy bug or a smaller jig, sometimes you'll pull in, you know, smaller fish. I mean, it just happens, guys. It just happens. So, hey, man, get yourself a jig and fish the jig, man. Don't be afraid. Get your confidence up. Throw that thing. Just throw it right in there, all right? It's got the weed guard. It'll be fine, all right? So get yourself a jig. Find yourself some trailers that you want to experiment with. Get different sizes and throw them. When you find the fish, pick that area apart with the jig. It works. Okay, guys? So, we're almost done. We're almost done. Because from the jig, we're going to go with a pretty basic setup, right? So we're going to move on to worms. Yeah, guys, worms. Okay? You're like, worms? That's a bait. Yes, it's a bait. And then within this little category I have of worms, guys, we have 3 techniques to fish the worms. Okay? And or stick baits. I call stick baits worms. They're all worms to me. So worms, okay? You got your U-tail, you got your ribbon tail, you have your stick bait, worms, okay? These are what I'm gonna call worms. All of them, worms. Okay, guys? I think we got the point now, huh? All right. So the first technique in the worm category, yeah, don't be afraid to go back old school. I've been fishing worms since Guns and Goodies was open. I wonder, I don't think they have any left. But the wacky rig, guys, you see that. You see that right there. Oh my goodness, get that stick bait. You get your wacky rig out there. This is one of the most common, if not the most common, bait used today. Wacky rig. Now you got your Nico rigs and stuff like that. Different variations. Yes, those do work, but I like to keep it simple. If you notice, you watch the channel, I don't have to use all that extra stuff. I don't need to go get nail weights and do the Nico rig because I know it works. Wacky rig works. All right. And if you want to get it down there a little bit deeper, a little bit faster, I normally like to put on a little bullet weight and let it slide on down the line as it falls, and it just gets that wacky rig to that fall that I am desiring, guys. So that's first technique of worms, right? The next technique of the worm category is the shaky head, guys. Get yourself a shaky head. Look at that. Got the screw lock on this one, all right? I do like the SMHs where you can kind of just thread them onto the hook. That style, shaky head, does work as well, but I really do like the screw locks. I don't know why, but I really prefer it. It just keeps my bait there. It keeps my bait straight. And then when you get that bite, I'm trying not to tear my bait up yet. Then when you get that bite, man, that hook is just right there ready to go. And then, your bait's going to slide right down that hook just like that. All right. So shaky head, guys. Get yourself a shaky head. Throw it up into that cover. You see it's weedless. Throw it up in that wood. Throw it up in that brush pile. Get it up in there, all right? And just boop, 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 boop. And this particular shaky head worm that I have on here has the bubble butt feature or the floating butt feature, all right? So it's a more floaty worm setup, all right? And this thing just does its thing, and it's moving. Awesome secondary action. You don't even have to work hard. You just give it the little slight movement. It doesn't even take much, just a little slight movement. And this thing gets bit, guys. Yes, a shaky head, homie. And now the finale, right? This is going to blow your mind. I know you're not ready for it. I know you're not. Just Texas Regia worm. Yeah, that's it. Take this right here. You can go around the world and fish with this and catch so many different kind of fish, but we're talking about bass fishing, right? This right here gets bit. Gets you a nice worm hook, all right? EWG worm hook. You can get the offset hook, all right? This right here with what I like to pair it up with, the lightest weight I can get away with, all right? So if I can get away with a 16th ounce weight, that's what I'm going to do. If I have to throw a 1/4 ounce weight to keep it down or get it down to the bottom because current or whatever the situation, wind, this is what I'm going to throw. And you look at that pink, that bright pink methylate type, look to him. And this is a floating trick worm, so it will float in that water, and it will attract some fish, guys. So go ahead and get you a nice worm hook. You see that EWG worm hook right there, guys, and that thing will just get bit. All right, guys. So I hope you stayed to this point. Of course, that would be great. But those are the 5 techniques in baits that you need to have tied on all April, okay? And the beginning of May, but we're going to get to May when we get to May. Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, and we'll talk about May when May gets here. But yeah, man, 5 techniques and baits that you're going to want to fish. If you need to, go back and look at the colors that I'm throwing and the April conditions. All right, we got stained water, we got muddy water, we got rain, we got wind, we got all the junk that just says, no fishing today. Well, we go fishing and we fish these baits. All right, guys. So there's a lot more baits out there that do work. All right, but we just didn't have enough time to go through all of them, because then I'll go through every tackle box that I have, and this will be a 2-hour long video, because I can talk baits, fishing all day long, all week long, all month long, all year long. I could talk about fishing, guys. So, hey, I hope this helped. If it did, go ahead and hit that like, man. Hit subscribe. I hope you learned something here. And go ahead and tie these things on. And I'm not going to keep you any longer, because I know you're going to go out there and go do some fishing. All right, guys? So, thanks for watching. I hope you like it. Leave a comment what 5 baits or techniques that you like to use in the month of April, guys. Put that comment down below, man. And I appreciate it very, very much. So, guys, this is my time. Tight lines and all that good stuff everybody says. Peace.